are a little after a year after the financial crisis started, Lehman Brothers, everything just going sideways. When I talk to all my friends on Wall Street, in the hedge funds and different businesses, banks even. Banks are supported by the government even. It's like nothing ever happened. Because the market went up 50% since March, everybody's just like, it was like a bad dream.
But it's not. We can see that unemployment is rising. Businesses are shutting down. They're going bankrupt. People can't pay for their houses, for their homes, and it's still going on. People are losing their jobs.
But why is it, it's just amazing to me that it's the illusion that Wall Street is creating is so contrary to everything that's actually happening in the real world right now.
It's because money and the financial system has lost its true value. They're just playing kind of with themselves and just inflating the number of dollars as if everything is working, everything is thriving, but actually, because the money is not connected to life anymore. Previously, for money, you knew how many years you had to work to buy, say, a house, a car, whatever. Money was worth an apartment, a car, a certain amount of hours of work. Today, it's something you play with in a kind of virtual way, however they want. So what they're doing has nothing to do with life. I looked at a very interesting, actually concerning piece of data. The sea transfer dropped by 70%. The sea transfer.
It's funny you mention that. I was just in Singapore a couple of months ago. You saw, I think it goes for 16 miles, nothing but empty container ships lined up. When you fly in, you've never seen anything so big in your life. It's probably the biggest thing that's on Earth, because it's not just one ship in a row. It's 6, 7, 10 ships wide. By mile after mile after mile, you fly over it, and they're all high on the water. They're all empty.
Just standing there.
So now everybody's talking about China, and China is the new 800-pound gorilla. But how can China keep it up without the trade? Because China's...
It can't do anything. We're just saying it. The media is working by the, following the government, by the order of the government, who agreed they just have to cover it up. The crisis is not going to go away. It hasn't gone away. It's continuing. It's like labor pains. There's a seizure, and then you relax, and then another pain, another relaxation, and that's how it's going to happen. We're in a process of delivery into a new world.
Okay, so the government now has went ahead and said here in the UK, well, in the UK they actually lost a lot of money. People lost a lot of money in banks. In America, nobody's lost any money in banks yet. The government has said they're going to stand behind everybody's deposit. They're printing money like crazy. The dollar is still relatively strong because there's a inconsistency here between people viewing the dollar as the safe currency, but at the same time they're printing money like it's going out of style. I don't understand this. It just makes no sense to me from any financial standpoint.
No, but I heard about a new plan that the government is now going to repurchase the dollars. They want to repurchase $500 billion.
I haven't heard about this yet. No, but it's reminiscent of what Germany did when they repriced the Deutschmark during the Great Depression.
Yeah. Well, look, from the perspective of Kabbalah, I know only this. The crisis, in the end, is a result of our egoistic attitude towards each other. And until we change the connection between us in the global world and the integral world, we have to be connected. We have to understand the system of connection between us, how nature is putting us, pressuring us towards balance. And if we don't change the connection between us to the right one, so it's really balanced and considerate, it's not going to go away. It's not a crisis on the economic level We have a crisis in science and education, in services, in healthcare, in everything. Look what's happening with the depression and drugs. It is a crisis.
Everybody's feeling it in
within
some
people.
way. But, I've heard you say before that saying that, even after all this happens and the correction does start to occur, there'll still be banks. And there'll still be financial institutions, there'll still be business.
But the businesses will have to shift to a completely new method. The banks and the system of connection between people will have to change radically. The businesses that are now closing down will not open and will not reopen. Humanity doesn't need all those redundancies that it created before. That dream of buying more and more and more, the American dream of endless consumption is gone. People don't want it. People have had enough of these things, of this surplus. They want something else. They want something that satisfies them in a different way. Just money, not just another car, another house, whatever. They've been through that satiation before. It's gone. The ego that's developing in us from generation to generation isn't just growing. It's developing inside, and now it wants something else. That's why you can see how the suicide rates, primarily in the developed world, like Europe, where people have
did you read this
everything.
thing about the
Look at how many people
telephone
are
company in
depressed.
France? How they had in one department alone over 100 suicides? It's mind-boggling because people just can't take the pressure anymore. So there has to be a paradigm shift, obviously. A paradigm shift.
A fundamental shift.
Okay, so there's a fundamental shift that will start occurring, that has already started occurring. People just don't realize it?
Yes.
Okay, so now you have all these people, all these businesses. Don't you think there has to be a massive crash? Because
No, I don't think they'll reopen, they'll start again. There's no need for them. All the merchandise you saw, all the containers you saw before, for miles over miles of containers that are just lying there in ships. There's no need for them. What are they going to transfer? These are redundant merchandise. It's surplus. What humanity needs, what it really needs: clothes, food, ordinary things. A house, a car. You need it all, but you need it on a normal level, on what's necessary for life. But people don't want more than that. Today, people need a spiritual fulfillment. Our egos, our desire has grown to wanting a little more spirit and less matter.
when you
We
think
see
about
that.
that, though, as an American, and America is a country that can be self-sufficient if they used less. America doesn't need other countries. We have oil. We can get more oil. They just discovered the biggest oil discovery they ever had in the Gulf of Mexico. We make enough food for ourselves. We can make clothes for ourselves. Don't you?
No. Just like America was very happy to get rid of Iraq and Iran and not to take care of the entire world and not be the police officer of the world and not wage all those wars in Afghanistan and all these places. It can't afford it to itself. Today, you can't lock yourself up in some country and say, that's it. Those are my
No, I
borders. I don't care
agree.
about the rest of the
I
world.
agree with you, but I just see.
So, why do you think it can be self-sufficient? You can't lock the country up. Everyone understands that.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but I just hear people talking, and I hear people saying, why do we need this? Why do we need all the rest of the world? And this is something that scares me, because I think it's this isolationism that could go the other way on us and take us down. Because
Yes, and there's no choice. You're going to have to mingle with the rest of the world. You're going to have to give it a lot of efforts and put a lot of money into it until you decline too. Because the world is round, it's all interconnected, and if you're not mingled in all of it, you can't
when
live.
you say we have to decline too, so we have to take our standard of living down to the rest of the world's standard?
No. It depends on whether or not the world connects in the right way among everyone. If they do, there'll be plenty for everyone. America shouldn't lower its standard of living. It can actually rise. All the surplus things we've created in the world, if instead, if we go along with the balance of nature, if we know what an integral system is, which we are in today, what a global system is, where we're all interdependent. What's the formula of connection between us? Let's work according to nature, by the law of nature that's operating now. We need to study where we come from, where we are, and that's what our success depends on.
What do I say to my friends who are on Wall Street, the people that I've grown up with in business for 25 years?
They should stop being smart Alex. They thought they were above nature. They thought they could do whatever they want, to build systems out of thin air and make all kinds of plans for saving, for spending, for whatever. They don't understand that they are within a law, and that law pulls towards integralness, globality, mutual connection. If they don't maintain that law, they're going to collapse. They're going to end up in a crisis. Today we're at a point where if we don't know the general law of nature and how to balance ourselves with it, how to achieve reciprocity with it, we're going to collapse.